So when you are doing some penetration testing as an ethical hacker, Andy, what's one of the first things you're going to do?
You kind of need to, how to put, scan the system, look for open ports, stuff like that, or just
Yep.
surveil it, so to speak.
You have to do, what they call footprinting. So if I'm going to hack into a network, what's one of the first things I need to know about it? I don't know anything about this network other than I have a device on it. What is one of the first things I want to find out?
IP address.
Yeah, IPA. There it is. Here's my Ethernet, 172.16.1.3. Unfortunately, it doesn't give you the subnet mask here, but there is another command that will, route -m. This gives me my default gateway. There it is, default gateway, and my subnet mask. This doesn't count because that's not my Ethernet 0. This is my Ethernet 0. I get my gateway, I get my mask. Now I know how to scan my network. And we're going to use the command line nmap, but it's way faster. And you can see I've already got it in here because I was testing it or somebody else did it. So I'm going to scan that, but I'm going to put in a couple. I don't want to do the default scan. I'm going to do T4 -F. This is like a quick scan. If you use ZenMap, that's what ZenMap is doing, is putting in those parameters for you. And as you've noticed, when we've done some of our other hacking things, we've not gotten into a graphical interface. We've gotten into a SSH interface. So it's good that we know how to do things by the command line. So we scan it. It does not take very long because there's not a lot of devices on that network. And it comes back with, oh, I guess there's more than I thought, isn't there? No, everything that's in here I know about. There's my firewall. Don't know what that is. Couple of virtual servers that are sitting in there. TP-Link Technologies. Oh, well, this looks suspicious, doesn't it? I've heard that there's webcams made by TP-Link that are, they can be hacked. So let's take a look at that. 192.16.1.50. Okay, well, let's look at that guy. We do have to go in by our web browser. This is what hackers do. They look at firmware of things and they figure out how to reverse engineer getting into it. I read an article on how this guy figured it out. Oh my gosh. That was extremely way beyond my capability. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's not where we're going to go. Got to go here first. There we go. So here's our, guess what the username and password is? Yeah, that's another thing that they did very poorly with this, is they did not set a decent password to get into the web interface. But any device, the default username and password is available all over the place in the internet. Doesn't matter what device it is, you can get the default username and password almost anywhere. Do a search sometime. All right, do not do this. We're not going to use it as a, it does work. I've done this with it. It does work. It's pretty cool, but we are not going to actually use the camera as a camera. And if you did, it'd be very dark because it's back in the server room, plugged into the switch. So not very helpful. So now we're going to go to logged in, should take TP-Link, password of the device, click, okay, system and management. So here is our management. We're going to go to management and reset it to the defaults because it could be the last person that used this did not reset it to the default. This is where you would wreck my camera. Somebody accidentally did that one year and I had to find I can reflash it, but I don't want to have to do that. So do not click download. What we're going to do is reset it. Restore factory settings. That way we know it's not already been hacked. And then we can go through the whole process. It'll take a minute for it to show up. For it to come back. It should come back at the same IP address because DHCP servers identify their clients by MAC address. So when this reboots, and I think I have DHCP set on the firewall, it's going to probably find the same IP address because that MAC address is stored in its DHCP server database. Hardware devices like you have at home are very much like the firewall. They just remember it in memory for a certain amount of time. If you reboot the device, all that's gone. If I reboot my servers, it's not gone. So that's why you may or may not have noticed that if you're on DHCP, you may end up with the same IP address you got the last time. And that's because DHCP remembers your device by MAC address. And see, it did come back. Yay. And there it is. No, we don't want to have the plug-in because it's just a dark room. Okay, oops, we go to advanced and network. Well, how in the world this guy figured out that he could do this is like way beyond me. But what we're going to do is called a bash injection attack, because what operating system do you suppose is running this?
Windows.
Bash.
Oh, bash. Yeah.
Little tiny Linux.
Yeah.
Lots of these devices, Android, they're all like forms of Linux of some sort. I mean, this has a Android thing in it that they customize because it's open source. My Ruckus has a Linux in it that was customized open source, Fortinet. All kinds of these devices have a Linux, the base Linux kernel in them, but then they modify it because it's open source. So this has a little Linux kernel that's actually called BusyBox. So in the username field, this is called a bash injection attack because they did not secure their web server. There's a little web server on this guy, and by doing $, we are accessing the local bash terminal. We're going to find the password file, which is actually stored in plain text. How stupid is that? No, I think it's stored in a hash. It's not even in the hidden one, which we wouldn't be able to get to. And we're going to copy it to the local web server. And then we'll end up with the hash that's stored in this not very good place to store password hashes. There's two places you can store password hashes in Linux, and there's one that's stored where you can't actually get to it. This one's stored where you can get to the hashes. So it says insert anything in here because we're not actually using the password. That's fine. And when we run this, when we save it, all you see is, okay, everything's updated successfully. So PPOE is like an old way of connecting to a internet service. I can't remember what it stands for, something over Ethernet. We don't use this. I have never actually seen it used anywhere. It's a way to authenticate to an internet service, but they use other methods now. What we're going to do is, well, this is our web server, right? And our command made a file called hash.txt at the root of the web server. So this is a little Apache web server that's on all Linux boxes. There's a local www folder. So right here is hash.txt. So if we type in hash.txt, there's our hash of the root yet. Well, how hard is it going to be from here to find out what the password is, especially if it's simple? Not very hard. So you can try to copy just the hash. I'm just going to do that and put it into a little nano file. And I'll just call it, what do I say to call it? Oh, hash.txt, okay. Because we want to have a local copy so we can muck with it. There we are. Now, we don't have to take everything out. This is in a standard Linux format that John the Ripper can recognize. So John the Ripper is a very high speed, what we just did. Save, exit, there we go. So John is John the Ripper. And we are going to use the famous rocku.txt. You don't know why rocku.txt is famous? There's yet another one for you to do. Whoops. Okay, I have to type it in. Apparently my pasting is not working right. Should be though. Let's try that again. Maybe I didn't get it pasted properly, copied. Nope, it's not going in. Must be. Anyway, John. We have to specify our word list. RockU.txt is built into Kali. It's like one of the oldest word lists around. It's still pretty good because people do tend to generation after generation use the same dumb passwords. And then we're going to have it look through hash.txt. So what's it going to do? Hash this, compare it with this hash until it finds a match, just like we did earlier. Same thing. John the Ripper is very fast. Look at there. And then they used MD5 besides. It's like, what were they thinking? So they loaded one password hash and everything is done. So if we do an ls, where did our guy go? Just a second here. This should have worked. It worked the other day. So I typed in hash.txt. It said one password cracked, right? And it said you should see the username. And the first time you looked at this is like, oh, where's the username and password, right? Well, that is the username and password, root and root. It's like, how dumb are they? And hackers do not go through and do it like this one at a time. They generate scripts where somebody downloads it, it infects other computers, and then it just takes over all these IoT devices. And distributed denial of service attack can be done by 1 million of these little webcams because they're a host device that can ping. So we are going to get into it just like they did, but they didn't do it the hard way. All right, so we go back to the web interface. We got our password, right? So we're going to advanced network. We're going to do the same thing that we did here. We're going to have a bash injection. What we want to do is, by default, and amazing they didn't enable this, it's just really quite surprising. Telnet D. What do you suppose D means? There is a telnet command that we never use because it's unencrypted and it's ancient. Telnet D is the telnet daemon, which means that's the telnet server. We're going to turn it on. And we do save. And now the telnet server is turned on. There. So now that means we can telnet in. And, well, looks like somebody made it. It's on 50 now, though. And what's our login? Root. Root. We can now do whatever we want. We could launch a denial of service attack against ping. I don't think they're paying any attention to me, are they? I'd have to have several thousand more cameras doing this. And by default, Linux, I don't know that they use ping, but if you had several thousand of these NC200s or whatever, and it wasn't just these, there's all kinds of other devices, but this is one of the big ones. Yep, I don't think Google is paying any attention to me, so. That's how they did it. I mean, not like this, but I think it's a very interesting concept, which is why we don't want to have it already hacked. We want to go down to system and reset it. So the next person can have that experience of having fun. Reset. There we go. Everything's reset. A couple of fun little labs.